What happened between Hunter and CEFC that your newly uncovered documents, banking documents you've just gotten, show us?
Well, now we have the bank records showing a $4.8 million transfer directly from CEFC, which was by and large an arm of the Communist Party of China. It is a multi-billion-dollar oil and gas company trying to lock up oil and gas contracts all over the world for the benefit of China. And its chairman, Xi Jinping, had also contacts with the People's Liberation Army as well. So, yeah, big businesses are connected to the Communist Party. There's no doubt about that. So that transfer went into Hudson West 3 and then further was forwarded to Owasco, which, again, is a company that really directly controlled by Hunter Biden. We also know that there's $1 million transfer that went to Owasco for the purpose of representing Patrick Ho, who is one of the managers of CEFC. He was accused of money laundering and bribery. He was convicted of that. But once he was accused, within literally hours, he called up James Biden, we think probably to try and get a hold of Hunter Biden to represent him. Hunter Biden, by the way, is not a defense attorney. Transferred $1 million. And in another separate...
Wait. Okay, let me just stop you so that I just want to keep it super easy for everybody to follow. Okay, I know you're neck deep in it. So this guy, Ho, got in trouble. And I know that on the Hunter laptop, he describes Ho as the spy chief of China. Okay, so he knew who he was dealing with. So Patrick Ho, the Secretary General of CEFC, this Chinese oil giant, he gets in trouble. He finds out he's being surveilled by U.S. law enforcement as a foreign intelligence threat. He winds up getting convicted of bribery, and he starts to get scared. The walls are closing in on him, and what does he do? What's the $1 million and Hunter as a lawyer?
So he first calls up James Biden. We believe he's actually trying to get hold of Hunter Biden.
Brother of Joe.
In the end, they transfer $1 million into Hunter Biden's business account. And the memo on the wire transfer is representation of Patrick Ho. So I don't know whether that business had defense attorneys or not, but we know that Hunter Biden's not. But $1 million is a pretty good little retainer to act as a defense attorney in a criminal case. So again, it's just further connection. As you pointed out, Hunter Biden has referred to him as the expletive-deleted spy chief of China. Just like, by the way, now that we know that Devin Archer is a convicted felon, Hunter Biden knew the types of people he was associating with. I would call them rather unsavory characters. I would view that as people that could compromise a sitting president of the United States. Remember how the news media was so concerned that if Donald Trump had some connection to Russia, they could be blackmailed, and that could be such a significant foreign, national security threat to America. They don't care about real foreign financial entanglements, real compromise when it comes to Joe Biden. It's curious the hypocrisy there, isn't it?
No, exactly. So yeah, Hunter's partners in one of his Chinese deals were, as you mentioned, Devin Archer, who we heard his name earlier from you, close friend, longtime business partner, since been convicted of fraud in a separate, unrelated case, although Hunter Biden's name was mentioned. And then there's another guy, Bevan Cooney. That's another Hunter friend. He was also convicted in that separate fraud case. And then his other partner in one of these Chinese deals is James Bulger, who, as far as I can tell, he's not swept up in this other fraud case that got everybody convicted. But he's Whitey Bulger's son, the famous mobster. Okay, that doesn't mean he's a criminal too. But it's not necessarily the people you'd want to bring to your Nana's tea at 4 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so let's go back. So Patrick Ho, Secretary General, big trouble, decides to try to save himself by cutting $1 million check to Hunter for, quote, representation, even though Hunter is not only not an oil and gas expert and not a practicing, not a criminal defense attorney at all. And then this other guy, Yi Jianming. I'm just trying to... Yi Jianming. Okay,
he just disappears. Yeah. He just goes poof.
Okay, so tell us about him, because he's also at CEFC, this oil and gas company in China with whom Hunter cut this deal, and that people are starting to get in trouble left and right. Okay, Ho gets in trouble with the law and cuts Hunter $1 million check, and things go bad with Yi as well, who was chairman of the energy company. Before we get to his criminal trouble, Senator, can you just tell us, isn't he the guy who gave Hunter the diamond?
I believe that was Patrick Ho.
Oh, I can't keep track of all the gifts. Okay.
No. Okay.
No, I have that Yi did it. I mean, that's of course what I'm
might have,
reading.
Again, yeah, it's kind of hard to keep track of it. I know that's that Hunter had lunch in his extremely expensive flat or apartment or whatever, and talked about that. But what is interesting is, again, you've had the CEFC, a multi-billion-dollar oil and gas company, just kind of cease to exist. There may be straggling elements, but that doesn't happen in the U.S. where a multi-billion-dollar oil and gas company just ceases to exist, and the chairman again just disappears, never to be heard of again. Something's pretty suspicious about that.
That
was
Yi. Okay, and just to round it out for our audience, this my information is this guy Yi. He was the chairman and founder of the energy company. He was a wonderkind of the Chinese energy world. And shortly after Biden left the vice presidency, Hunter and this guy Yi met over dinner in Miami. They discussed business opportunities for CEFC in the United States, including possibly a $40 million joint venture to produce liquefied natural gas here in the United States. This is according to a 2019 New Yorker report, based, by the way, on extensive interviews with Hunter Biden. The deal failed, but Mr. Yi was so impressed, so pleased with young Hunter in their meeting that after the dinner, he sent him a 2.8 carat diamond to Hunter's hotel room with a card thanking him for the conversation. There's a real question about whether that's a purchase of corruption. He's trying to buy Hunter Biden. It's not a thank you. It's a down payment on Hunter paving the way for him here in the United States with the help of Hunter's dad. Okay, so then they signed this consulting deal. Hunter's going to be a consultant, again, zero experience, for CEFC here in America. Then the CEFC company gets accused of bribery in Africa by the DOJ. And before you know it, people start getting in trouble. Ho he finds out he's in trouble with the DOJ here. Yi, he gets arrested in China and has not been seen or heard from since. They got the diamonds in the mail. You got this guy getting arrested and then disappeared. You got the other guy getting finding out he's in legal trouble and then paying Hunter $1 million. These are his buddies, in addition to his American buddies, at least two of whom have been convicted of fraud, who are all over the papers for his companies all over the world.
Yeah, Hunter runs around with a nice crowd, doesn't he? It is important to note, by the way, that Hunter claims he doesn't know what happened to that diamond. It's also important to note that diamonds are often used in international money laundering. It's how you do it. I mean, you pass something valuable. It's very small, very valuable. So it's one of the ways people launder money.
And what do you mean launder money in that context? How is that laundering?
Well, I mean, laundering money is various different things. But when you have a criminal activity, you don't want to necessarily have the money traced from the criminal activity to an individual. So you run it through a bunch of different businesses. And again, I always thought it was very interesting how many different businesses Hunter Biden was involved in. And he just, to me, doesn't seem necessarily like a serial entrepreneur. He seems more like a serial grifter, serial con man, quite honestly, serial influence peddler. But that's how you do money laundering. So you try and make sure that the transactions can never be traced to the illegal activity, to the individual actually directing the illegal activity. And one of the ways you do it is you hand off diamonds.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.